Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Baer, and I am known as America's top foundational health coach with over 30,000 of my clients over my 4 decades plus 3 years of being able to have people get in touch and pristine, clean wise how this weight came about. Well, 1 million pounds later, it is gone. It is gone. And we're going up, up, up with that number, especially during this time when it is, well, getting into that bikini season, but also post-retirement, going back in and being unretired in this COVID era, bringing people into what I know to rejuvenate, restart, and recommit and regenerate their lives, because you either degenerate or regenerate. My husband, Bob, calls this, well, I guess I'm a degenerate. Well, he doesn't say that anymore. You know why? Because he knows that he wants to regenerate, and so do you. And you're going to get that today with what we're going to learn here with Dr. Talk. Dr. Talk, because I say everything is my favorite, but I am so grateful. I woke up this morning saying, I'm so grateful for these professionals that they give of themselves. Make sure you check with Dr. Bill Janeshak. Oh, that rhymes too now, doesn't it? With being and everything that he does. Dr. Mike Van Thielen is everywhere. Now a TEDx speaker, and Renee Brown. We know what the CEO and co-founder of Next Level Recovery does in her mental health sphere. Today, we are going to talk about this one topic, but we as a symposium and as a panel decided it's good enough to talk about this month and next. So Dr. Mike Van Thielen, who really, he hasn't written one, but he's written 2 books on EMR, EMF, biohacking, what you can do. So he's going to be the leadoff hitter today and give you just the foundational health coach, if you don't have a foundation. And then next month, right before we go off for Memorial Day, that Thursday at noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific, we are going to give you take 2. This is the education about what it is today. May, when we do it again on the 23rd, it's going to be, what can you do? Because the body is a miracle making machine. It can and will heal itself if put in the right environment. Think about those 1 million pounds of toxic fat lost, now 1.1 million. Think about the people and my clients and client patients that I've been able to assist to regenerate, rejuvenate, and restart their lives. Why? Because when that body is put in the right condition, it's not a modality. It's not the 5 tenets of traditional Chinese medicine. Yes, it helps. Supplementation helps. Nutrition certainly does help, of course. Sleep, exercise. Yes, we know that. Prayer and meditation, physiotherapy, but it's that body. And what you're going to learn now is why you want to do it and how you can do it with only the panel that we have with Dr. Talk. So after this commercial break from Vibra 360, why am I doing it again like I did on Monday? Because they're running a sale. My first coach said to me, and she was a woman, she said, anyone can buy it at full price, but it's the real smart person. And she was talking about a woman, of course, that buys it on sale. So you can go and get your Vibra 360. That's a biohacking unto itself to keep your body alkaline. It is just so important. You've got a chance to do this with Vibra 360. You know that I have formulated and had something to say about this product with all 6 mushrooms in it, including reishi, shiitake, maitake, cordyceps, and that all important one, that 6th one, Acacia blazei. So go to vproducts.store, pick your products and pick your alkalinity and your mushrooms up at 50% off through the end of the month. And also make sure that you go right now, go to our YouTube channel, Healthopedia 365. Like, subscribe, and share, because this broadcast, you can listen to it again. You can go back and just get so much out of just the zhuzh and the goosh and the good stuff about preventative health, or as Dr. Bill Janeshak called it last Thursday, real health. I tend to agree with him. So let's talk about the real health right now with Vibra 360. Let's get our coffee going. And I know it's coming up right here soon. Let's go. Yes, even that music gets you going, doesn't it? But this broadcast is going to get you going. I mean, for real, for real. And in the order of which they're going to be coming, but we're just going to come up and have a great panel. I can say Dr. Mike Van Thielen, as you know, we have this special bond. I was his first patient, having a situation that I believe was a lot of toxicity. If I had known about biohacking, it wouldn't have been stage 4 melanoma. But thanks to him being his first patient, as being a competitor, he said I wasn't going to be on his patient watch 0 and 1. Well, 24 years later, here we are together. And Dr. Bill Janeshak, who last Thursday was on Life's Milkshake Moment with Kevin Lucas. If you haven't seen that broadcast, go back and see it, because it was, as I say, it was zhuzh and goosh. Yes, because it was just that good. I have a new word. Dr. Bill Janeshak, I want to say congratulations on being a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, because what you do is just achieve as a servant heart. It's much more than a meat suit, much more than just a jerkopractor. As you said, he's a full spectrum kind of healer. And speaking of full spectrum, Healthopedia author, best-selling author, just an expert at social science. Renee Brown, CEO of Next Level Recovery and Medical Mindshare, where we're going to be able to share in this platform. As soon as it's coming up, I'm going to say, welcome, Mike. Welcome, Bill. And welcome, I need some other estrogen in the room. Welcome, Renee. So, Mike, I just want to say, I have your first book, EMR, The Invisible Threat. Boy, isn't that the truth? Now, please show your latest book with the IZOD method to our audience before you begin.
Yeah, that's number 8, Jody. That's about biohacking and upgrading your body, your mind, and your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a real setup, as only a leadoff expert can do.
Yeah, there's so much about biohacking, but yeah, I think it's a good idea to just kind of explain what it is and give a little bit of foundational info. Then next month is going to actually some practical tips that people can implement, but we need to understand what it is. In the late 1990s, early 2000, it was all about anti-aging. That was the buzzword. And then later on, it became regenerative medicines and stem cell therapy. And now the buzzword is biohacking. And most people have heard of it, but really don't know what it means or think it's only for the elite. So there's many various definitions. It's a very amorphous term, but for me, it's very simple. Biohacking means upgrading the body, the mind, and life. From a health point of view, it means to me objectively reversing our biological age so we can become the best version of ourselves. We actually become superhuman. And I think today, this is not just for the elite. If you implement those strategies, technologies, and compounds that don't have to cost money, by the way, especially the foundational ones, we can all become 100 years chronologically. But that's not the most important part, because biohacking is about quality of life. It's about being able to do the things that we love to do and about finding fulfillment in life. So what does that mean? We all have a chronological age. We have our date of birth, but we got to step away from that. It's totally not important, because if you look around yourself, we have 60 in and out of the hospital that are diagnosed with various things and cannot enjoy life. And maybe they'll keep them alive till they're 82, 83, but they're not enjoying life. So the chronological age doesn't mean much. On the other spectrum, we got 89-year-olds and 92-year-olds that are 100% okay up here, that are totally independent and still enjoy life. So chronological age, what does it mean? Really nothing. It's our biological age, right? How old is our biology? And today I believe we all can easily become 100 years chronologically, but the key is to be 100 years and be able to do what a 40, 50-year-old does. So still be able to go, play 18 holes of golf, or travel, or do whatever it is that you like to enjoy and find fulfillment in life. And that's about health span. It's about lifespan. And so today we have the tools and strategies available to us, especially if you hook up with guys like Bill, functional medicine doctors, Dr. Jody. If you find yourself a good coach mentor that can guide you in the right direction into this biohacking world, you will see it's all possible, and we can measure the results objectively. So that's generally speaking what biohacking is. Now, again, it's upgrading the body, the mind, and life. So let's explain that a little bit without going into too much detail. But obviously upgrading the body, it's upgrading our biology and physiology. And today we have strategies, technologies available that can do that. You mentioned, Jody, the foundations. We obviously need to upgrade our diet. We need to avoid and keep toxemia in check. We need to move, right? We need to have a deep delta sleep. We need to be exposed to natural sunlight, and all those types of things that we are forgetting, because Mother Nature is the number one healer. And yes, there's technologies, but nothing replaces Mother Nature. So we need to learn how to breathe properly, because it's oxygen. We need to spend more time outdoors. We need to take those shoes and clothes off and get that vitamin D, and we need to start grounding. And this is all basic stuff, right? But that's upgrading the body. It's basically giving our body what it needs, to reverse the biological age, to regenerate, as you mentioned in the intro. Number two is upgrading the mind. And probably that's the number one thing that we need to do, because if we upgrade our minds, it's going to be much easier for our body to get the upgrade also. And I'm sure that Renee and Bill did a great job on that mental health thing that you guys got to redo. But to me, upgrading the mind is the most important, because our mind controls our body. It controls health. It controls disease. Our mind is also the blueprint to our future, the blueprint to our failure and our success, because most of us are held back by our past, and we falsely or incorrectly label those experiences as failures. And so many times we're held back by that from a health point of view, but also from a success point of view, and realizing our goals and dreams. So this is what we need to learn, really, is we need to learn or understand that our mind is, basically the blueprint. And so what I'm teaching many of my mentees is that we get bombarded with information on a daily basis, apparently about 14,000 messages. But a very, very small portion of those messages are basically stored in our conscious mind, because in order for it to be processed and stored in the conscious mind, we need to pay attention. Like, for example, in listening to this interview or this podcast or reading a book or watching TV, only that information is processed and stored in the conscious mind. All the other information goes into our subconscious, okay? And so that's the vast majority. So it's the subconscious mind that has all the power, that has all the potential, that connects us with the universe and all its resources. So that's number one to understand. Number two is our ego. Our ego is always in the way, right? Because our ego mainly operates in the conscious mind. And our ego is there to protect us from distress. But it only can do that based on the information in the conscious mind. So it's very limited. So what we need to do in order to upgrade our mindset is we need to put that ego aside and start to manage all the faculties of the subconscious mind. so we can strengthen our belief system. We can be pulled forward by the future. And we start to believe that we, for example, Jody, can overcome cancer, that we can overcome Parkinson's and lupus, that we can be the number one in the world in swimming or in whatever it is, that we can get to that next level as an entrepreneur. If there's any doubt in your mind that you can achieve your goals and dreams, guess what? The universe has two options, failure or success. If there's no doubt in your mind and you'll be pulled forward by the future that you're going to achieve your goals and dreams, that you're going to overcome that cancer, guess what? The universe only has one option, a big win. So that's why I believe that upgrading the mind and really, putting your mind in the right conditions to then upgrade that body and overcome the diseases and be the best version of yourself is probably the number one thing to do. And then last but not least, upgrading life, right? We need to really get a purpose in life. We need to be driven. We have to have passion. We have to have a plan. And, we need to take those obstacles and see those as opportunities and stepping stones. And if we learn to upgrade the body, the mind, and life, that's when we become the best version of yourself. That's when we become bulletproof against any virus and pathogen and disease of the 21st century. And that's when we thrive and can unleash those superpowers. So that's what biohacking is. And next time, we'll give you the top 3 biohacks that you can start implementing immediately, Jody.
Beautiful. And I tell you what, it just, I guess, Dr. Glen, you got off the plane. It's wonderful to see you. We've got a little bit of an echo. StreamYard is playing a trick on us today, but I can say, welcome. What great information. And we're gonna take a quick commercial break, come back with you, Dr. Glen, because I know you came in and came out, but we want to hear about biohacking from the happy hormone doctor. But I'm going to do it saying, Dr. Glen, I'm so happy that not only Dr. Jim Marinakis in our 2.0 book with women's health, but Bill, Glen, and Mike, men are going to be after ladies. I'm a traditionalist. Women's health, it is the essence of a woman. This is the subtitle. Unleash the feminine soul. And the happy hormone doctor will be writing a chapter in it as well as the foreword. So let's just take a listen to Dr. Khalila Camacho Ali, who is our anchor author, along with her 5 daughters and her 95-year-old mother. Mike, doesn't that fit in with what you're talking about, quality of life? Take a look, take a listen, Dr. Khalila. Former wife of Muhammad Ali, Academy Award-winning actress, author, motivational speaker, aviator, and filmmaker, humanitarian, martial arts 3rd degree black belt. Dr. Khalila Camacho Ali, our anchor author for The Essence of a Woman. Truly an essence of a woman, and the essence of a man who helps the biohacking part with the happy hormone doctor is none other than Dr. Glen. Give us your great, it's the new word for today, the good zhuzh, okay? Just made it.
All right, I'll give you all the zhuzh I got. First off, I have to start with Dr. Mike. Right on with the subconscious mind. I agree with that immensely. I tell my clients that, hey, it's just like 99.994% of your life is driven by your subconscious mind. So if you think you're achieving things consciously, good luck with that, right? And it's and with the biohacking, I think it's even better to share some stories here. So I remember when I turned 60 in this year, and I'm very excited about that. I feel as I'm getting older, I'm actually getting younger, which is quite cool. And I can remember back in my 40s talking to some friends about going on vacation. And my friend had mentioned, we were talking about going on a cruise to Alaska. And he said to me, I want to do it soon, while we can still be active, while we can still go kayaking and hiking and be on the trails. And I says, I don't know about you, but I don't have an age where I think that I can't go hiking or kayaking or anything like that. And And I'm one of these weirdos who wants to live to 110, but not 110, using a walker and not recognizing my friends and things like this, because I really truly believe that the way the human body is designed, we're designed for very, very slow, steady decline through life while maintaining all of our faculties, our physical, our mental, emotional, vibrational, spiritual, alignment. And then we come very close to the end of life, and then we have a deep dramatic drop off, and then we just move on, right? And why I even know that like living to 110 is going to be so easy. I watched my father, who died at 93, who didn't do a thing positive for his health. And I'm like, well, heck, if he could live to 93, 110 should be a breeze. And it's doing everything, though. This is I think the misconception. There's a lot of people, well, I'm going to go exercise. And that's going to be my biohacking, or I'm going to do all the emotional work as my biohacking. I'm going to do everything wrong, but I'm going to go to the chiropractor. That's my biohacking. To me, it's everything. Putting it all together. Like, from my own personal perspective, I've worked immensely through the years on what goes on mentally, emotionally, vibrationally, and spiritually in my body. I go to the chiropractor, actually, Dr. Bill, on a regular basis, and have since my 20s. I obviously take care of my, hormones are my thing. I take care of my hormonal health. I take care of all the triggers with that. I've even done umbilical stem cell therapy a couple of times, because I know as we're aging, we're losing stem cell production. And I think, to me, it's putting it all together, doing all the right things. Like I know that Dr. Bill is like the expert's expert on talking about what's going on with your structural and your physical health. I know Renee really gets so deeply into what's going on mentally, emotionally. And Dr. Mike, he just about covers everything that's out there. And Jody, with your focus on the fundamentals, but it's all of what we have to say collectively that I believe is really, truly biohacking. And there's so many things. Why this is so even more important to today's world is because we're inundated with things that have an opposite effect on us. Yes. Our food sources suck. We use conventional farming. We don't have the nutrients in foods anymore. A lot of people who say, well, I just want to do everything with my diet, I always say good luck with that, because supplements are no longer just a luxury anymore. They're a necessity. We have to work. We have so much coming out at us from a stress level, all of our mental, emotional stress. We've got the stress of EMFs that are coming at us on a regular basis. We've got chemicals in like there was even some research that I read years ago done by a university on the East Coast, where they took breast milk from women who live in the wilderness areas of Alaska, so nowhere near a big city or any kind of manufacturing anything, and they still had PCBs and chemicals in their breast milk. So just living in this atmosphere is a negative for the biohacking that we're talking about. So this is why it becomes imperative that we take care of all the levels, all the pillars that really Jody talks about all the time. We have to take care of the functional structural health. We have to take care of our mental emotional health. We have to take care of, as Dr. Mike said, what's going on with the subconscious mind, because literally that's driving everything. And every single one of us, I'm not a gifted individual. I didn't learn all this from when I was a kid. My parents, when I was young, I drank yummy soda from the Jewel grocery store in the suburb of Chicago. I ate poorly. I did not take care of myself. And I really didn't discover health until I was, well into like my mid-20s. So this is still, a good portion of my life was spent very unhealthy. So now the biohacking that started at 25, this is why I can say at 60, I feel younger, I feel more vibrant, I feel more alive, and I feel more in tune with myself than I ever have in my life. And here's the whole thing. Every single one of you watching this has the same ability to achieve that. I don't have any gifts that you don't have. It's just shifting what's going on in the subconscious mind and letting that drive you down the path of really the best health for the longest period of time possible. So that's what I've got to say.
Wow. But it's always a wow. I hear one and it's wow. And then it's like a quadruple wow. I mean, truly, truly, because it is, if think about the old saying, what the mind can achieve and believe it can conceive. It's just, but you have to believe it, then you achieve it. But it's the conceive and achieve. But if it's the believe, well, you're going to find the ability to achieve it. And if it's the conceive, you will. It's all in the subconscious mind. Thanks, Glenn. If you've got to pop off, I understand. I'm just glad that you pop in and pop off. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful share. And I tell you what, Bill, we're going to you. I want to just read you something. You know what? It must be why you are the latest of my cadre that got the Presidential Achievement Award. Thanks for being part of the club. But see, your Belinda or whatever, Nixon country didn't have anything on you. You got your own Presidential Achievement Award because what you do, how you share, how you serve. And this chat today on Facebook is blowing up. Glen is a true expert. I love Glen. I love Bill, but Bill you've won the award for the comments about it because Dr. Bill, if you will, gave me the thing. Let's talk about true health, shall we?
Well, awesome. You know what? I got nothing left to say. Mike teed the thing off. It was lined up there. It was perfect. Glenn comes over, and honestly, Glenn didn't have much to do after that. He just followed the wake of Mike. That's because of the swimming background. So he just kind of delved it in. I'm just going to ride the wave on that, and then Renee can come up and bat cleanup. I say this every time. I said, anybody out there listening and taking notes, you got the bulk of it. Mike kind of explained everything. The only thing that I differ in is I don't like the word biohack because of it sounds like you're cheating the system. It still takes effort. It still takes things that do. You got to put in the work and the discipline of doing it. It's not hard after a while because just like Glenn said, being unhealthy, and I think we all were kind of growing up in that era. It was just fun. And the more fun, the better, especially when you're young and dumb and you can just kind of go out and play with everything. I kind of did the same thing. But it's the consistency of the biohacking, and I think it detracts a little behind the science. If you read Mike's books and you're talking about the details, or Glenn's books the same way, anybody that's going through menopause and they've heard everything going on about, oh, this is what my doctor said, I got to take these hormones. Well, you're just getting older. You just got to learn to live with it. It's all bullshit because they don't know, because the biohacking is just a new paradigm. It's just upgrading our way of living. Glenn had just said too, that supplements are no longer a nice to have. It's a requirement because we're not getting the nutrients that we're expected to get from our soil and our food. We're not moving around. I'm a structure neuro dude. So like we are not moving. And if we're not moving, our brains are taking a hit. And that means the whole meat suit is degraded. You're getting this low grade meat suit and it has to carry around your spirit. And it goes back what Mike said, and then Glenn just took credit for at the end of it, was it's all subconscious. It's your environment, because if you're not resonating, you're not vibrating at this high frequency of knowing that you can do anything in life, and you have these billion-dollar dreams and you're driving around in a $50 hoopty, you ain't going to get there. And that physical, the biohacking is just to carry around your dreams. So you have the energy and the wherewithal to take on the actions it takes to do the things to make your dreams come true, the best version of yourself, the meaning of life, and everything else. And it's just doing the things. We already have a problem. It's a dichotomous issue in our society because, I always joke that I can order a computer, a pizza, and a wife, and I can have them all delivered to my doorstep overnight because and we're expected to have these things immediately. Well, our biology is millions of years old, and it doesn't work that way. We have to have our foundations of life requirement, but we don't do it because it's easier to drive through something and get a bag of oil and some fake food to stick over there in our pie holes so that we get some calories so we can pretend that we've given our body some nutrients. Those nutrients have to be digested and broken down and turned into neurotransmitters and hormones and muscle and bones and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. But we're not doing that. But we're expecting these results from these bad habits that we're not going to be able to get. And that causes depression. And then Renee can probably speak on this ad nauseum going on, is if you're not moving around and you don't have those things that are fueling your brain and your consciousness and your dreams, and then you get depression, anxiety, and everything else. So now you feel bad and you're resonating at a lower level. So what are you going to expect? You're going to get crappy things. It's just like Mike said, it's just upgrading your life and telling yourself, damn it, you're worth it. Put in the extra. It really doesn't take that long of time. One habit is the same as another habit. Get out there and move. Push yourself. Push yourself for no other reason than to see if you can do it. What are you made out of? I used to end my talks. I would go through everything and I would talk about, was it worth it? And then I would ask the audience and anybody listening right now, would you die for your kids? This doesn't count for people that have teenagers because they always rethink it. But would you die for your kids? And, every hand goes up. Every parent says, yeah, I'm going to die for my kids. I said, all right, well, who's willing to live for the kids? Who's willing to be the model in the house, in the environment that subconsciously is picking up and using mirror neurons to watch the leader, to lead your kids, to lead your family? Ed Milet talks about if you're the one in the life that changes the trajectory of your whole family, your whole genetic tree, your whole family tree. Are you willing to put in the time and the effort? And again, it's not effort, but just do the right daily disciplines to get the results. Not for yourself, but lead your kids. And that's all I really got to say about that. I just Mike leaded up, Glen did that. I just kind of like sweep up the little ends here and there.
But it's such a good end. It's such a good end, but we're not at the end, Bill.
No.
I mean, my goodness gracious, I can truthfully say we're going to get the mindset, and body life, mind. We're going to learn how to be bulletproof. I can truthfully say that it will be amazing. That's amazing. So you guys are amazing. The meat suit is amazing. I love what Mike gave you in a private chat, Bill, that no drug can replace movement. And talking about the unconscious mind, no drug can replace having the great mental mindset. Talk about an expert. Talk about, I know, guys, you're just going to have to put up with me for a minute. Renee and I now have our kick names because, especially with her hair up, and she's being such a big part of being a Healthopedia ambassador for our women and women's essence. And I nicknamed her Minnie and I'm Daisy. So definitely she just has that look, but she's more than Minnie Mouse. She is the mental health guru. Renee, give it what you have about biohacking with the knowledge, and then we'll come back for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll take a commercial break, and I'll wrap it up, and we'll wrap it up together. Renee, from Next Level Recovery, it's always a smile that you put on my face.
Well, thanks, and thanks for having me today. And I look at this topic as multi-pronged, as everybody has presented. Really, truly, it feels like we've been in a relay race today and just covering so much. And one of the things, there's a few things that have stuck with me, and that is the first thing that you open with, Dr. Jody, and that is, if we're not regenerating, we're degenerating. So if we're talking about biohacks and everything I'm seeing and reading, the freshest of science, that's exactly what's going on, even more than what we realize. So I'm glad that you just kind of opened up with that. So I'm just going to kind of be fun today, as fun as I can. And I think the way we need to think of biohacking is, what can we do with the little bit of time that we have each day? Because we're in a busy society. We're doing our best, but we're busier than ever. So let's just pretend that every day we have to make a fast trip to the grocery store and we're wondering, what are we going to grab? But we're not paying with money. We're paying with our time, because that's what everything comes down to in our modern society. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is water. And everything I'm going to mention is like the 2-for, the 5-for, the best deals at the store. Well, I want to mention water because if we're not hydrated enough, there isn't a biohack that's going to really help us out if we're dehydrated. There's very little that can be done to improve our health when we do not have enough water. And I would just suggest that, our listeners go to WebMD, take a look at the appropriate amount of water that you need for your lifestyle and just where you're at. So second to that, I'm just going to touch on sleep, and I'm going to touch on sleep as it has to do for mental health. But again, this is a 2, 3, 4, 5-for, and even more. So, and it's something that we do anyway. But what I want to mention about sleep is that this is the time that we are able to release mild trauma that happens each day through our cells, and it's released. And the amount of resilience that gives us to do what we want to do is absolutely amazing. And I often talk about a longitudinal that was done in Canada, 15 years. And what they discovered is that our mental health is more affected if we do not get enough sleep than even our physical health. And I just thought that was amazing. So, since we have to sleep anyway, let's understand the value add. All right. So the next is nutrition. And this is where health IT is growing faster than any other technology that we have in the world right now. And this is an area where the gut-brain connection and the diverse bacteria that's needed in our gut for our health and wellness it's exploding. It's a category that is just cascading with new information. There are books that specifically talk about this in context to mental health exclusively. This is an amazing category that can be so freeing. There are books on this that address mental health. There are nutritionists that are certified with mental health and the gut-brain connection. So I definitely wanted to cover that because it's something to race to in the grocery store aisle for sure. All right. So social. We are social creatures first, and I know I'm known to say that, plenty often. So how do we work with this? Because this is integral to our health as human beings. And this, we have to recognize that we're very much individuals. So some of us are going to be energized and experience more wellness from social activities in our lives than others. Some of us need a little bit less. And how you'll know this is the amount of internal energy that you feel within yourself. So I would just invite everybody to understand their personal balance where this is concerned. Movement. I'm grateful. I think all of you have touched on the importance of this. And I would just say this is something that is the best for helping us out with anti-aging. Children with mental health disorders, including autism. This just keeps us well in so many ways. It's a 5, 6, 7 for, there is no doubt. And if you're wondering how much do you need, take a look at children, that are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. We need as much. And this is where Dr. Jody, led us to begin with. If we're not regenerating, we're degenerating. And movement, I can't emphasize that enough in this area. The next thing that is a big bang for very little time in the grocery store aisle is some direct sunlight. And some of you have touched on this, and I really loved what I've been learning from direct sunlight. So how much do we exactly need? Anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, 10 to 15 on average. And this is going to depend on your sensitivity to light. So this is very much individualized. But what this does is it elevates your vitamin D. This makes you resistant to diabetes. It lowers your blood pressure, and this is the best part of it, you guys, inflammation. It naturally takes this down. Just how amazing is that? So next I have carbon monoxide and mold. Taking a look at how you can measure this in your households, because these are silent killers. But to begin with, they can be attributed to melancholy, anxiety, other mental health conditions. And I would say, from what I've heard of, about 70% of disease can come from mold itself. Now, the last thing I want to wrap up on would be mental health for anyone that is seeking help in this area. My favorite quote is from Dr. Amen, and what he has to say is, you know what, let's take a look under the hood and see what's going on. He's absolutely right, because biomarkers are where it's at, and we're only looking at seeing far more of them with health technology. So what can you see with a QEEG brain map from neurofeedback? First, it's covered by Medicaid and most insurance policies. But second, we can take a look at our history of TBIs and other issues that may be more pressing than what somebody is able to see and hear through the DSM-5. Biomarkers hold much more information of where we're at with our mental health than about anything. And you can request and shop around and see who's using AI software, 19 channels. Again, I mean, a co-payment for this, no brainer. And then a clinician can work with that. So that's about all I have for today, with the grocery store running in, running out.
Absolutely. And with the grocery store running out, we're going to do a quick commercial break. I'm going to wrap it up with, you can't make this up, Renee. I had on my list water. Okay. So who knows? So let's take a look. Let's take a listen to our board certified. There we go. Our board. And mine just happens to be with a little bit of matcha tea in it, Mike. So here you go. I'm telling you, notice they were glass. They even when it says BPA free, it may not be all that free. So let's take a look, take a listen as we're talking about a great exercise movement that absolutely will make all the difference. One of our sponsors, he is a Healthopedia author, board certified, Dr. Bill. I don't know whether you and Dr. Glen knew that Dr. Mark Chavez is right down the road from you, creator of the Gravity Ball, the greatest exercise quickie. I won't mention the other quickie, but it's for exercise. It's the best quickie around. So let's take a look, listen, because Gravity Ball is something with resistance you can do quickly in your home, and he's developing the 2.0 ball right now. So get on the order so you can have it. I've got the OG, Gravity Ball MD. Yes, Gravity Ball MD is the way, and he created it for his dad, who was a power lifter, Olympic trained power lifter, and he needed something as he got to be older, was still using the ball at age 100. So, Mike, Bill, Renee, I've got 30 years to go. I really like that. So, I am going to do an ad for us, for our Healthopedia authors. Mark your calendars. It's a busy day, I know. Saturday from noon to 2, because we had internet issues. Don't we know that happens sometimes? Kimberly Meredith wasn't able to join us virtually to our Boca event. And because of personal situations, Jamie Kerr could not fly over from London, nor Rex coming down from Wisconsin. So we are having a medical medium, Mindkite, and the Mentalist. Our 3 mental health people are going to be together. This event is free. You can go to healthopedia.eventbrite.com. Grab your ticket. Kimberly will be doing readings. We're going to take Q&A about all things mental mindset. And I'm going to be with I'm more Minnie here, Renee, and she looks like Daisy. But Kimberly Meredith, who has over 250,000 followers on Instagram, we're going to be doing a preview for this. So mark your calendars for Wednesday. What a way to start May on 3 p.m. Eastern, and gosh, I guess it is what is that? Well, noon Pacific. I can do those things in my head because I am trained to do this. I'm just going to wrap up with a couple of things, and what I'm going to wrap up with is this. To me, I know that I had a situation with water. I got a call, as we want to get the word out, what we do, what we speak on, and how we change and affect the world. Well, I got this call. They said, can you be on the air in 30 minutes? Well, I was glad I had my makeup and eyelashes on. Okay. See, Mike and Bill, you don't have to worry about this. Well, it was a Fox affiliate in New York, which was kind of a big deal because the state of New York had just passed the bill to ban polyphenol alcohol in the water. Well, it's great. It's an election year. They're going to do whatever they're going to do to make sure to get the buzzword out there. But look it up. It's just a nice word. So I earned my DR in front of my name. What does it mean? It just means that this absolute, it's poison. Anything that you see that's a long word, it might as well be poison. Just put them in your banned list. This type of fluoride, polyphenol alcohol, it's cumulative. So let's say that New York takes it out of the water. Oh, that's great. Let's say that, well, my goodness gracious, I should be going like this. What's my problem here? But what we do, because I love you guys, but we go ahead and they think, well, it's taking it out of the water. But if you don't do, as we said, it's cumulative. If you just decide that you're going to go and take the fast food way, you did whatever, you're going to get back at it, because the containers that are in fast food, plastics were already mentioned by Dr. Glen, with breastfed milk from mothers up in rural Alaska. It's everywhere. So what can you do? That's what we're going to get into next week. But this is why I'm going to come back to the 5 tenets of traditional Chinese medicine. We started with that. Supplementation's a must. Sleep, can't live without it. Renee, we talked about movement. We even saw gravity bell with exercise. And you know what? If you have the other 4 go away and just do exercise, that's what your health is going to be. The tall man is going to be standing. And then we have guidance and prayer and meditation. That's with you and you, because you're the only person that will never leave you. Husbands may. I had that situation. And frankly, children better at some age. And then we have physiotherapy. It's important to have them all, but pristine clean. What I'll be starting again in June, we had a great post Boca run doing a parasite cleanse. If you wanted to see this Nat Geo 5-minute, wouldn't you agree, Renee? That was the craziest video of all kinds. It was just nasty. 9 out of 10 people have it. My son, my youngest son, when I found Hulda Clark, had a parasite in his brain at 4 years of age in 1984 that was 4 inches long, that was expelled. We saw it. See, everyone has them. But let's go further. Colon, we've been doing gallbladder. Y'all know, I've been doing this for a minute, 43 years. I'm very consistent with it every single day. I knew that it was time for a gallbladder cleanse. Listen, I'm going to have your line, Mike, to the warning signs of your body. I went through, because I've had a few things going on that have been a little bit stressful. Listen to the warning signs of your body. I had a quart of Bragg's apple cider vinegar, which I promote for gallbladder cleaning. Do y'all know I went through the whole bottle, but I got the benefit. The reason I looked so lovely today and eyes were bright. I couldn't believe my eyes because I did, as I call it, the healthy tequila cocktail. So not. We did the purge. We go on because detox or tumors, your body makes a choice. Detox or anything. And it's hard work. I love the movie Dunes. Paul puts his hand in the box and the Reverend Mother finally says, no human child should have gone through this pain. Yeah, my neck's had a resume among other things. But when he pulled his hand out, he said, you are the one. You choose to go through this. You are the one. So Bill, I'm going to come back and end with Mike. What is your, just 1 minute as we wrap up here about biohacking? And by the way, you can see the whole interview. It's going to be posted today with the Fox and all I did was talk about water, what you should do. I should have come back with that a little bit. I talked about water. What can you do? It's being aware. That's what it stands for. Water is great, but it's the right kind. What are you aware about with toxicity every single day that will give you lifelong results? That's what water stands for. So, Bill, back to you. Last 1 minute of wisdom.
Yeah, the first thing, it would just recap what we've done, is like you said, first be aware that this is going on, because if you don't care, if it's not aware, it doesn't even enter your world. The second thing is look out for your environment, internal, external, which consciously and more importantly, subconsciously in your whole environment. Then just take some action. It is not far and it's not hard to find answers to what you're doing. Want it, be aware of it, change your environment, then just change your action. Go get Mike's books. I mean, those are like, listen to this. I would stay away from, Dr. Google and maybe some traditional places because they don't really have the paradigm set. But in this day age, it's not hard to find. Come see me. Come see Glen. There's Mike, everything out, and take baby steps. You start walking, then you'll start jogging, then you'll start running, and then you'll be happier than all get up.
Absolutely. And happy you are with Next Level Recovery. Renee, what's your last minute? That was great, Bill. As usual. What a blessing. Okay. Renee.
Well, I think I'm just going to piggyback onto a little bit about what Dr. Bill has spoken about today as far as the unconscious. And I'm just going to say that any of us could become a piano player. And when we become great, we are unconsciously competent and we have changed our mindset. So if we could do the same with the subjects that we're talking about today, make them habits consciously, this will create unconscious competence and we will have reprogrammed how we do life.
Ooh, reprogramming with beautiful tie-in, Mike. Yes, body, life, mind, ego. It was great. You are an expert. Speaking of unconscious competent, wrap us up for today.
Yeah, no, it was great, but I can see listeners, they think, oh, it's all great information, but where do I start? There's so much. I mean, how do I upgrade the body? What do I do with my diet? How much sunlight, right? Renee said 5 to 15 minutes based on how much is it for me? And this, and then it goes out. So I see people get overwhelmed, don't know where to start, right? And so that's number one. That's why you need a guide. That's why you need a coach. That's why you need a mentor to guide you in the right direction. And it doesn't mean you're really going to have to change your life. It's just creating healthy habits and getting away of the old habits. Because people think, well, if I have to do this, and this, I don't have 2-3 extra hours in the day to do all the things you guys want to do. No, that's not what it's about. It's about maybe 10 to 20 minutes per day, because what it is coaches like us, what we do is we see in each of those categories which elements within that category you respond to, the elements that you can count on. For example, the mind. Are you good with visualization, manifestation, gratitude journaling, meditation, breath work? What is it that gets you as a customer or as a client into a meditative state? So we're going to explore those things. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick the elements in each of those categories, and we're going to create or customize what I call a power routine, which is a 5 to 10, maybe 20-minute routine that you can count on, that you implement every day. And if you do it every day, that's only then you're going to get some, significant results, because you're taking those incremental steps. Doing a little bit here, a little bit there, being compliant for 2 weeks and then disappear for a month is not going to make a difference. It's coaches like us that are figuring out what works for you, put it or mold it in a simple power routine you can count on. And if you do that simple 10 minutes every day, that's when you're going to make a big difference. So just take action, get your coach, get your mentor. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be something that's going to take 20 hours per day. No, it's just going to be a few minutes consistently that's going to make these big changes in your life, in your health, in your body, in your mind.
True, true, and true. That's why I call it 10 rituals to rock your day. You're already doing it, but putting it together, as Bill said last week with Kevin Lucas, about its real health. Homeopathy is not like Spanx. One size fits most. One size fits all. It's not a girdle. It's customized for you because it's your blueprint. So just remember in every day and every way, it's that one step, your one right step to better health, a better you, so you can regenerate rather than degenerate. And you're going to get the real tips. Now that you've gotten the information, come back next month on the 23rd of May. It's our Thursday, right before we head off for our first summer holiday. Just come back and feel and experience all of these tips that we can do it. How do we do it? Well, health isn't something you do. It's what you become along life's journey. Become it. Be with us. Thank you, Dr. Mike. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Dr. Bill. Thank you, Dr. Glen, who's already in training, for making the time and making a difference in my life. So until next time, we say, in every way, let's make it a great Healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.